rehearsing ourselves, we decided to play each other, obviously. I have not had hair that long and beautiful in quite some time. It's a great blonde wig. I get why I prefer my hair long. So you're like,
this is how I see you, bro. This is how I see you, Brian.
How I deserve to be seen, but my bald spot refuses to cooperate. We've actually discussed maybe outlining a different show for the writer's room, something we've already covered. But the reason why we decided to do the Fielder writer's room is because there are writing credits on the show. Like, they write that show, so we gotta do it too. And so, yeah, we decided to push ourselves and put ourselves up to the challenge.
So
With that being said, you ready to dive in? I have 3 pitches. I made more, but I limited myself to 3 based on how last week went.
Yeah, temper thyself.
Hello, welcome in chat. We are going into the writer's room segment, so make sure to put your pitches for any episodes you want to see, and me and Phil will riff on them.
So are we doing this rehearsal as each other? Is that like...
I think we'll go as far as costumes. I don't think I'm going to impersonate your voice. I'm not trying to get canceled in episode 5.
My voice.
I don't know. I'm not trying to do nothing.
My voice. So it's just his headwear specifically. I spent $27
Look,
for a wig.
Hold on. You can impersonate me. There's just a bad history of white people impersonating people of color, and I'm not going to accidentally fall into a racism.
Well, this was your idea, babe.
I
Here
know.
and now. This was your idea. To be clear.
True.
To be clear. All right, so what's your first pitch?
Okay, so I have, so basically to come up with ideas, because you kind of hit the nail on the head that this is about, like, finding interesting people. So I kind of went into, like, YouTubers I like and, like, tried to find, like, someone interesting they covered. And the one that I came across was, there's this dad that left his family to be a breakdancer. And I thought Nathan could help him reconcile being with his family again. And the breakdancing makes it so funny for Nathan to play with. How can Nathan help him reconcile with his family?
Yeah, so I guess we can riff on this a little bit. So, like, what would we want to kind of see in something like that?
Well, he would... I know at least publicly, the reason why we know about this story is because his daughter came out and shamed him on the interwebs, and that went viral. So it would probably be him reconciling them two.
That's fine. So he could make him, in order to reconcile it, he should have do a performance as a break dancer.
That's really funny. So, I mean, obviously he's going to have to practice, right? Not just the routine, but talking to his daughter. So, I don't know, probably some wacky shenanigans.
Yeah, they could do different. Yeah, they can do different types of bringing it to doing the reconciling. I mean, there's one version where it's like he does he does it while he's breakdancing. He comes with a cardboard sign, right? And like a sign says, like, you know, I know we've had some things, you know, we what was it? Say anything? No, Love Actually. I like the sign where it's like, I know we've had our differences, but, and then he puts the cardboard on the ground and he starts breakdancing.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts, ideas?
Yeah, the other thing I think he's going to bump up against with this particular guy, if they did go in, like, for what I know about this person, is the dad disputes the claims. So I think he's going to have to, like, teach the dad how to own up to his mistakes. I think that's going to be the lesson for the dad to learn of, like, understanding her side of it. Because the dad came out and, like, vehemently disagreed with her retelling of him abandoning his family to be a breakdancer.
Well, I feel like I agree that that's like the ultimate goal, but I feel like he never comes out on he never comes down judgmental on his subjects. Sometimes he should.
He would have.
Like, so, I mean, it would have to be a thing where he tries to, like, lead him through it, right?
He has the dad rehearse the incident, but playing his daughter.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be something like that. Yeah, dad. Yeah, and dad has to rehearse the incident as the daughter with Nathan as the father. Because then you get a lot of fun. Then you can have Nathan in like an 80s style breakdancing outfit. Are there any suggestions in?
Nathan has to
Mm,
learn how to dance. We have to see
yeah,
him
that's
take
fine.
dancing lessons.
Yeah, that's funny.
I am once again the slowest learner they have ever seen.
I was informed that not only did I learn it, but I also had another affliction that I didn't realize affected one's ability to dance. I was also very white. So I had to, so then he goes to like the hood. And he's trying to like dressed in
Mhm.
the 80s, just like it's the 80s. He's trying to learn how to break dance. I'm trying to think if there are any other vectors. Well, I mean, because there's also like aside from making him learn the lesson, it could be how music brings people together, right? So
Yeah.
music reconciles. He goes to on a whole deep dive. He learns to play an instrument, but then he has to do a performance. But to do a performance. And
How does
but he
he?
doesn't know, so he has to do a rehearsal of in front of a small crowd with actors, but then he's like but what if I didn't realize what if he could break out? So he has to play like Carnegie Hall. And he has to fill it with just actors, and he just does an entire breakdance performance in Carnegie Hall so that he can remember what it was like
Mhm.
when he first started out.
I wonder, does he try to see how many people he can get in a crowd to stop and watch him dance?
Oh, that's interesting. Like on a Santa Monica Pier or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it goes like, why do people watch dancers?
yeah.
You know what you could do too to bring in the like reconcile the father and the daughter. The
Yeah.
father and the daughter could be invited to the performance he does in this. If we did like he does a performance at a venue or at Carnegie Hall, like then they're
Mhm.
there, like and their seats are together, and he does, and they don't know that they're there, and he has like, and he has like things that the dad could say is like, huh, see, he's playing Carnegie Hall. And he's like, but I think maybe, but what does it take to get this far? He probably neglected his family and he probably feels bad about that. You know what I'm saying? Like there are,
Mhm.
and then see like what the daughter says.
Okay, I see that. Building him up to bring him back down.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good narrative through line.
Did you have any other thoughts on this or do we want to get to your next suggestion?
It's your turn to pitch, actually.
Well, all right. So my pitch was do your other pitch. I need to think some of this stuff overlap with one of my other ones. I need to recontextualize them. So you can do your second pitch
Okay,
right
no
now.
problem. My second pitch is that he helps rehabilitate an influencer with a bad reputation. And I think
Hmm.
this could be like how the pilot was the entire season arc, because there's how much stuff could he get into? He has to reconcile with the idea that he might have started YouTube pranksters. His behavior is very similar to Nathan For You's behavior has through lines to YouTube pranksters. And then there's like a bunch of things to go into there
Did you have
because
any thoughts? Yeah, what are some of those?
so there's YouTube pranksters he can go into. It's people that go too far for content, people that lose like the thread on reality of like what's okay to post, what's acceptable. So like the Logan Paul uploaded a video in Suicide Forest because he found a dude that hung himself. He found the corpse and
Right,
decided that didn't see anything wrong with posting that video. You got
right.
parents that
I get
have
that.
no laws on them for regulating how they record and upload videos of their children and
I
the
get
money
that.
where the money goes. So
I
there's
understand.
such
I
rich
get it.
topics to get into. Yeah.
I get it and I agree. Like, what does it look like materially is I guess what I'm asking.
Well, he would find his focal point. So let's just go ahead and name that person. I don't know. What's a good influencer name? We'll make it up.
Paul Logan.
Nice. And this person is, I don't know, trying to get a different image, a different
Okay,
perception, or
I'm trying
maybe a
to
job
rehabilitate
outside
sort
of,
of deal.
yes. Maybe
Gotcha.
he's done with YouTube and wants a job outside of YouTube. And so, what does Nathan do to rehabilitate his reputation? He has to
Hmm.
relive those moments. And learn what was wrong about the moments that he made and like what would have been the correct decisions to make.
Maybe as he has to rehabilitate, maybe the first thing is like it's like a shock therapy sort of thing where he has to play a person like at a store. He has to work at the Chili's.
He's the worker
And,
that's harassed at
yeah.
the store.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Nathan comes in as him.
Nathan has to harass him. Yes.
Right.
As a YouTuber. And then you can edit it in a way that he's like getting his own like Vietnam flashbacks to the pranks that he did on Nathan For You. His behavior is identical.
That's great. That's really funny. Yes, that's funny. Yeah. Nathan gets PTSD. Well, and so then he should go. And he should go. Well, and if we do that, then he goes. So I had to go. Who have I hurt? And so he goes to like the guy from like Dumb Starbucks, and he's like, and I reached out to him, letting him know specifically that this is not a prank, that this is not a goof, and even though this is filmed, I am being sincere. And I just nothing is happening. Like I am
Nathan
not.
has
This
to
is
go
not
on
a
an
prank at all.
apology tour.
Yeah, right. That's funny. Hold on.
While he's typing, I want to remind our friends in chat, we are doing a writer's room right now. Please go ahead and put your pitches of stories you would have Nathan do on the rehearsal. There are writers on that show, so go ahead and put your pitches in the chat. Make sure to like the video to help get it to more people and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for being a part of our community.
Yeah, so my pit, that's pretty good. I think we don't have as much on that one as we do on the breakdancer, but I feel like we have like kind of a fertile field for that one. So my pitch is, and it was for a person that we know, that I won't say his name on air, but you know who he is.
Oh boy. No, is it Starscream?
No, it's not Starscream. No, it's someone in your sphere.
Interesting.
So someone that we know is an up and coming announcer.
Okay.
For sports. Okay.
Okay. He might like this. Okay, so what does Nathan do to help this person?
So my pitch is that like we have this kid and he's getting started, and I'm sure he's gonna have some anxiety about it. And or like there are instances where he isn't quite doing like what he should do, like he's not like in the moment enough, like he's doing the pitch. And so Nathan attempts to cure him of that by getting him a gig as a sports announcer on a big game, but then the game is taken over by terrorists. And he's told that they have to Eddie, but he has to keep announcing it or they'll liquidate the entire audience. And so it's like, that's him doing it under pressure. So if you can do it, then it's like, okay, it's the stadium has been taken over by terrorists. But we don't want to raise alarm bells. So you have to keep calling the game no matter what. Don't talk about anything else that's happening. And then he just
I thought he was going to like be announcing the terrorist actions.
Well, let's talk about it.
Either way works. What I love about your pitch, what I want to say first, what I really, really love about your pitch is that it would require him hiring actors to play the football players, to play the baseball players, to play the audience members. There's so much like elaborateness to this. I love it.
Like, and you could have his like co-announcer. He's like, oh my God, there's a terrorist right there. Like you could see him as like, I'm freaking out. Like, I don't know what, I don't think I can do. You're going to have to keep going. Have to keep going, because then his eyes will be trained on that person, like keeping their eye like what's going there. And so you could create a whole elaborate scenario, like dragging audience members out of there, but they're actually actors. It's like, and I wanted to see what it would look like, but I knew that if I was still around, he would still feel comfortable. So I had to be taken hostage by terrorists as well.
He needed to do this on his own.
Right.
Does Nathan have an actor SWAT team show up?
It's hilarious. Actor SWAT.
Does the president call him and tell him he needs to remain calm and not cause a panic to continue doing the game? Like he gets the instructions from the president? Or maybe like,
it's like no matter what
like
you do.
Mayor.
Yeah. You'd probably be mayor. But yeah, it's like no matter what you do, like I just need you to I just need you to be calm. Like this situation is too hot for you
Mhm.
to freak out. Like you're everyone everyone is counting on you to just call this game. Call the balls,
Yes.
call the strikes. It's like we need you. Um that's very funny. I think it's funny too if at the end he's like he calls it and he's like, okay, it's safe. They caught him. Like let everybody know what's happening. And he's like, just so you know, the incredible SWAT team and blah blah blah. And then and then you have like someone in the audience goes, get back to the game. Get back to the game. Boo. And
Mhm.
and they start booing him. And they just boo him. It's like sometimes the audience isn't going to agree. Like that's just how he learns to be a professional announcer.
That's very silly and over the top. I like it. And it's also so extreme. Very Nathan Fielder.
What's your next pitch?
My next pitch is he helps a pickup artist be normal around women and get them to understand what the actual key to get women to like you is just don't be weird.
Okay, so what does that look like? What are some of your like some of the bits and skits they could do?
I mean, the first he's going to do is like let him fail and be himself and
Yeah, I bet
watch
I'd
it
like
like,
yes. I agree. Well, that would be a rehearsal, wouldn't it? So like he has to
yes,
find these people, right? So like he has to find
yes.
pickup artists. So like that, I think we can have a lot of fun with that.
Does Nathan dress up as a woman and try to get picked up by the pickup artist?
That's funny. Yeah, that's very funny. So I guess we're making the scenario here, but like the real life person, I guess this would need to be one that feels
Oh,
penitent.
if he actually did this, I actually think there's someone with a cloud out there that's kind of clowned on a lot. He has this like red mohawk. I do think there's an actual guy that would be perfect for Nathan to do this with.
Yeah, so I guess, but my question is kind of like, are we doing it that way, or is this the angle we're trying to help him realize it? So we're giving him like attention for being a pickup artist. Like this, that's my question.
I think it would be, I think we would want him to be a better human being by the end of it. To be,
Yes, I understand that. That's not my question. My
okay.
question is, how are we getting into it?
It would be,
Are we
I'm
looking
not
for a
sure.
person so then it's like it
Mhm.
could because it could be something is like these women they don't like these pickup artists but like we so I had to find one and see if we could reform him and so like you do like I'm doing a show on pickup artists like and the lifestyle
Yes.
like you know and do it that way like that's what I'm saying like I guess what I want to make sure is that he does pull it off at the end so we do need to know about like kind of the moral implication what
Mhm.
it is that we want to say, what it is that we want to do. But because we are dealing with human beings and not like characters, like we have to kind of like think about those vectors of like what it is we're doing so that we can get across what we want to get across. You know what I'm saying?
That makes me think like, would Nathan get into the why are you like this of it?
Hmm.
Like, would they, what makes you think that this is the correct way to attract a mate?
Yeah, so it goes to like your first
He'd
date.
study.
They do a rehearsal of the guy's first date,
Oh, you mean like his, like when he
worst
was a
date.
teenager?
Yeah, worst date. Yeah, his first date and his worst date, and then how he would done it differently if he was a pickup artist then.
Absolutely. The other thing I'll add is they always compare themselves like, this is nature, this is animals. That's why I'm an alpha because it's nature. And
Mhm.
Nathan would absolutely become a
It's
zookeeper to
funny.
find out if there's validity to that claim. He would go study animals.
That's absolutely it. And he would make
Mm-hmm.
him be a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
He would be a
He'd
zookeeper
make
and he
him
would
role play as a wolf. He has a fur
yeah,
costume.
right. He could have like we didn't want to have female wolves because being an alpha is about being the toughest man wolf.
Yes.
So I got a bodybuild. He gets like a bodybuilder. He doesn't get Liver King, but he gets someone that's like that, like ball down and stuff like that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and he makes him who's also like dressed up like a wolf. It's like be an alpha to this guy, like alpha this guy.
Well, that's another thing. I'm reminded of a Adam Ruins Everything episode where he explored this and he kind of explained that like the jock might be the alpha in a group in a high school setting, but like you put them in D&D with the same nerds, the nerd would be the alpha in that setting because they'd be the more confident and comfortable one. I feel Nathan could run that as an experiment.
That makes sense. How would that look? How are we
I mean,
thinking?
it would be like putting him in different settings. Can you be an alpha wherever you're at?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, and testing that theory that you claimed that you're always the alpha wherever you are.
Vamp for a second while I type this.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it would just be like, I also think like having him practice how to be normal around women and then like putting him out to test it. Like, did it work? Can you be like, he actually got a woman to be interested in him just by being normal, being interested in her. Like, just like literally like diffusing. I think you would have to make a list of all like the Sigma tips and tricks, and Nathan can design experiments around all of them and exploring whether or not they're true, but ultimately having the thesis of like, if you just chill out and be normal.
He should have him break up a fight at a gay bar.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm at a gay bar, and there's a guy that's supposed to be a straight guy there, and then a gay guy's like, he came on to me, he's trying to pick me up, and then he has to be the one to like break it up. And he has to be the one
He
to
has to
diffuse.
de-escalate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I do love the idea of him being at a gay bar because like they're like making them comfortable around different groups of people because like sometimes all you have to do is go to be around
Well,
other
and that's
people and then that diffuses
and
your
that's the thing
bigotry.
too, is like he needs to see in a scenario where there could be a person that would make
Mhm.
him be uncomfortable in the same way that he's making other people be uncomfortable. That's like strategic
Actually, that
empathy,
might be
isn't
the
it?
best setting for the alpha discussion because like a queen could check an alpha. Let's just put it that way. Like a real drag queen, she could check an alpha.
Yeah. No, that's a drag queen. and and then I feel like then Nathan becomes like then there's a whole runner that we have with that where Nathan
Mhm.
he learns drag. He gets like a drag name. He's a drag name. And his drag name is Nathan.
That's funny.
And so then the other one that I have, I think the big guy becomes the manager and mascot of Jerry's.
Wait, what? Jerry's ice cream?
We know no the bar.
Oh, the bar he built?
Yeah.
Okay. He becomes the
I
mascot
think
of
your
that bar,
dad
Nathan?
we makes your dad we have him make your dad the
Oh, my
manager.
dad.
Yeah. He becomes the
Okay.
manager of that restaurant. So he wants to do restaurant, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's him like actually having to learn how to be people's person because he's good at socializing. He's not good at conflict resolution.
Well, then then we have it. Like we have a fight. We have a fight at the bar.
He lets them fight.
This is right. And he hires like a stunt. He hires a stunt team. Nathan hires a stunt team.
It reminds me of the baby thing in season 1 where it was testing whether or not she really wanted a family. And this would be like, can you really handle owning a bar? Can you really handle the responsibility of running a restaurant? Is this something you actually want? So what other shenanigans can happen at
No,
a
and like
bar or
wait, yeah,
restaurant?
Nathan is like if we do the like fighting part, Nathan has to get in a fight. He's like, I had to get into a fight. Like most of the time when I would try to get, hey you want to fight? He's like, but most of the time when I approach people like that, they would just walk away. And I feel like then he would become like he would take up boxing, and he becomes a prize fighter.
He's on his fitness arc.
Right?
Just
Yeah,
Nathan
that's funny.
Fielder ripped.
Right? Yeah. I had never been a beefcake before,
Oh, man.
and I thought, wouldn't it be fun? Just comedians, always the one getting laughed at. But then I thought, what if I was doing the laughing? Wouldn't it be funny if I was shredded? But that's so funny.
The,
In one of these other problematic ones, he could start making fun of like the pickup artist or something. You know what I'm saying? Or the influencer or something like that. Because there are things you can pull from the different ones as well, like with the influencers.
Actually,
Like
you
it's
know
not
what
funny when
justify that with the pickup artist?
Hmm.
They always argue that we need to bring bullying back, and so Nathan's like, Okay, let's try bullying him. They argue kids need to be bullied so he could bully the pickup artist based on that justification.
Well, I think we need to bring bullying back. I just don't think that we need to pick on like artists. I think we need to bully the bullies. I am actually on
I
that.
agree.
I'm on that train.
Pickup artist, you can. They shouldn't be called artists. We can pick on pickup artist.
Oh, Nathan becomes his bully. That's funny. It's very, very funny. So I had to find bullies. And he holds holds a he holds a symposium on bullies.
He has to get bullied first to understand how to bully.
Yeah. And so he invites bullies. He invites like former bullies. He puts out an ad if you were a bully. He's like, I was curious who would show up to an ad for and admit that they had been a bully. But I did want to have one actor from the Fielder method who is like a bully. All right.
This actually, you know what would be funny? Another thing is he wants to understand the perspective of the bullied. Some people claim that I've been a bully. And then he can have a conversation with the woman that thought he was unfair during the pilot.
That's funny.
The Wings of Heart.
Wings of Voice, I think.
Wings of Voice. Yeah, something like that. And then he can have a conversation with her and litigate whether or not he was a bully to her.
Well, it would be like, yeah, she would basically just like tell him like why it hurt her, basically. And he would just have to like sit there ostensibly.
Yeah, it'd probably be very similar to the way the one woman that he was parenting with went.
Yeah. It was funny.
But he has the voiceover.
He's like, well, how would that make you feel? And then they would do a rehearsal of him on Wings of Voice. He's in
the Wings of Voice singing. He recreates the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
And she's Nathan.
I know she'd go along with that, but no, I mean, he has an actor that plays Nathan.
I know Nathan would definitely do this. He would have her they would sing together at the end. Like they do like a duet.
That would be nice. That would be very nice. That's nice warm fuzzies too.
I feel like he would do that. Did you have any other pitches?
I don't have a pitch, but there is something I did want to say. I actually have a prediction for season 3.
Okay, what's that?
In the CNN interview at the end, he makes a comment of like, a lot of people go to like podcasts to get their messages out, but I don't believe in that. I believe in CNN and institutions like this. And I'm like, that's a very odd thing to say.
That was
and
very
so
odd.
Like, I wonder if podcasts or the news are going to be the topic of season 3.
I think you're right. I
felt
think the
like
news
a Nathan hint.
I think the news
and
is 100%.
I hope I get to play this clip and vindicate that I predicted season 3.
That's I could definitely see them doing that.
Thank you. So this would be tough to outline, actually, because I'm not even sure if each episode follows like a 3-act structure. They kind of follow not stream of consciousness, but kind of follows the narrative in a cohesive way based on the camera footage they have. How do you think we're going to tackle this?
I think the way to hit it is, I think the first episode is pretty much, I mean, that's the basis for all of it.
Yes.
And so I think if we start with that and with that structure, then we can extrapolate to a broader season arc, if that makes sense. And so maybe we're not doing an episode, but the closer we get to outlining an episode is that, like the thesis episode. But we have like other ideas for things that they can do and then like button it up at the end of the season. How does that sound?
Yeah. I guess basically we're working out a season arc, which would be great.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that are individual episodes too. I mean, this is just me spitballing here.
Make sure to hit that sub button if you haven't already. Which idea is calling you the most? I want, which one do you think has...
Terrorists.
That seems like a 1 episode though. That doesn't seem like a season arc.
Yeah, I mean, we can do, again, that's why I said I was spitballing. I don't.
Yeah.
If we want to like take some of these and like pair them together, that is also fine too. But I'm throwing things on that. That could be fun. I'm throwing things out here, maybe, and let's see where they go.
Maybe the announcer one could fit in thematically because it's about teaching him to use his voice and stand up for himself. And that ties into the whole, can you teach someone to be an alpha? And like, this is him doing that with this announcer.
Like coming in at the clutch moment sort of deal.
Yeah. Can you stand up in a moment of distress? can you hold
Hmm.
yourself together? Or if you even want to just do a shorter one. So let's go through them. I think Breakdancing Dad is an episode. The YouTuber's fertile enough to do a season arc. I think The Terrorist is an episode. I think The Pickup Artist could be an episode, but also could be a full season arc. And then what's at the bottom? The Restaurant. The Restaurant's probably an episode.
Hmm.
So I think if we wanted, we could use.
Yeah, and to be clear too, when I said like we can extrapolate, I said
Mhm.
well, that's what I'm. We can start
Yeah,
with the structure, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's in the first episode. And if we do feel, let's not. And this is a good lesson too. Let's don't pigeonhole yourself or cut yourself too short and saying like what things are and aren't at the beginning. Like start with the
Mhm.
core of something and like build out sort of deal, right? So like if there, let's
Well,
deal with the individual episode, and as we are developing and we're having the ideas come out, if they expand into other episodes, then let's do that. Let a thousand flowers bloom sort of thing. That's kind of what and I don't think I articulated it correctly,
no,
but
that's
like
great.
that's what I mean when I say like let's get a core. Let's
Okay.
not let's get a core. What are we trying to say with that? And let's see if it can extrapolate into a season.
I think based on these, I think I can come up with a thematic core. How about studying masculinity, specifically positive masculinity versus toxic masculinity?
Yeah, I dig that.
Because I feel
Yeah,
like all of these could touch on that.
yeah, I dig that. I like that.
That's what I'm kept around for, the thematic stuff. That's my bread and butter.
So then if we're taking all of that, then we have to have our character that we come in with.
Feel like the pickup artist is probably the best candidate, right? And then the only
I
oddball out
don't. I actually,
here.
I'm going to disagree with that. I
Okay.
would actually go more the breakdancing dad, to be honest with you, because
That's our entry point. Okay.
yeah, I don't feel bad for the pickup artists. And usually you kind of have to like them to start off with. So I would go with the
Sure.
breakdancing dad because his like to your point of like toxic masculinity and his inability to like his focus on his thing to the exclusion of the people that cared about him,
Hmm.
I feel make him a very likable person.
Hmm.
So we don't
Yeah.
we forgive him his toxicity, if that makes sense.
Depending upon which way it goes, whether he succeeds or fails, it's at least an engaging, like, you want to see the parent redemption arc, but it might not happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a dad trying to make amends is definitely more likable out the gate than a pickup artist.
Yeah. Yeah, makes
So that's a good call. I agree. So that'd be episode 1. Do we want to do like an outline of like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 so that we can keep track of it that way? And if anyone in chat wants to pitch us for how we can punch anything up, please go ahead and do so. Also, if you're watching this not live, also leave a comment about what you would do differently.
Why don't we do some? Because I don't want to do a full. If we're gonna do a full outline, I'd like to do a full outline just for at least for episode 1, and then we can have some
Mhm.
general beats for the rest of the episodes. I don't want to do the whole
Yeah,
season.
yeah. No, I agree with that.
That's too much. That's gonna take too much time.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So we're starting with the dad, then, yes.
Yes, breakdancing dad, and we can just figure out where we want to put them all.
Yeah. So if we're doing it off of toxic masculinity, if that's the kind of the vibe,
Thematic
what's our
through
in?
line.
Yeah, what's our in?
He's going to want to start silly. He's going to want to start very punchy and grabby. That's the attention getting out of the gate. That's the way Nathan likes to do it. So does he do it whereas he's being abandoned or he's abandoning his kid in a rehearsal? Like, what's the punchiest way to do this breakdancing dad lead? Because the punchiness comes from the father abandoning his family for his dream. So how does Nathan do that in a good way? Or is it like, this is all theoretical, right? So we can do whatever we want. Do we open with ripped Nathan at the gym talking about how to become a strong man?
That's funny. Yeah, that's really funny.
Talking about masculinity, what makes a good, strong man versus a weak man, like all these manosphere talking points, because he's going to want to bring in that audience without them realizing we're going to actually teach you how to be a chill person.
And I think that's funny too, where by episode 3, I feel like it may move around, but he can become like a men's influencer.
Yeah.
Manosphere influencer. But it's all just like, it's all basically like how bad it is. He's taking something that's like, this tastes really bad and I can't like.
But pushing positive masculinity. You could even like, could you imagine Nathan going on like those two morons,
Now
uh,
who's picking
Fresh and
fights?
Fit. Fresh and Fit. Nathan Fielder goes on to debate those two. He'd run
But he
circles
wouldn't. But
around them.
remember, Nathan doesn't debate.
That's true.
He never
If he
debates.
was going to be in this world, he would have to, and he'd have to practice. He'd have to rehearse.
Okay, so then that's something. So he practices debating because he
Because
doesn't
he'd have
debate.
to do two
Like
things.
he never did. Like that's his whole personality is that he's avoidant.
Yes. No, I agree with that. And then, but he would have to, because he would become, as you said, a positive manosphere influencer, but positive masculinity. So it would be like he'd have everything of the persona down. It just the words coming out of his mouth would be different.
Yes, or he'd still be like super nebbishy, but he'd just be like super jacked. And
Yeah.
he's like, it was exercise. Like, it just exercise, push-ups. A trainer, I had to hire a trainer.
Yes. Let's see what else. He'd be
So
certain
let's
body
get
types you can't obtain without testosterone injections, correct?
steroids.
Yes. He'd be very honest about that process.
It's funny. Nathan on steroids is very funny. He gets angry, but he's still him. Or we'll wonder
Yes.
what would happen. All right, that's funny.
He probably wouldn't go this far, but we're playing. It's fine.
I mean, he landed a plane. He flew a plane, so you never know.
Okay, so pickup artist would probably be introduced episode 2, right? And that'd probably be like how the
Yeah,
first
but I don't
episode of
want
season
to.
1 wasn't the main
Yeah.
through line, but the second episode was. That'd probably be what we're doing here. I'm sorry, you were going to add something?
Yeah, I want to focus in on the first episode
Oh,
because
yeah,
that
yeah,
will
yeah.
inform
Okay.
the rest of the episodes rather than straight. Let's put this here and
Yes.
that there. I like to kind of like know
Mhm.
where we're because then we can like spin it off and like we can have ways of putting the pickup artist in episode 2. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, so maybe the way in is he talks about like there's a crisis of men, and men are in crisis. And it's just like men can't talk to other men. They can't even talk to their own family. And so like he finds this guy. He's like, but like
Mhm.
it's often like portrayed negatively, but like maybe there are reasons why men don't want to talk. And so then he kind of like finds this breakdancer guy. And it's like
Yes.
who has lost, who has lost because I feel like I don't that's the theme we were saying he would do and I agree with, but like I feel like he would not start by saying toxic masculinity. I feel like he would start by saying like
Yeah.
because he's non
Oh, yeah, he's going to hide the ball. Yeah,
right.
no, he's
That's
going to hide
his
the
whole
ball.
thing is being non-confrontational. So like
Yes.
he would never say because we know and the audience knows.
Yeah.
Like that's why we're playing
Mhm.
jokes out that like you're being confrontational, you're being a pickup artist, you're being a manosphere psycho influencer, but he would never do that. You're being a debate
Yes.
lord. He would never do that. He would find the way of like just kind of like almost making them think like it's their idea what's going on.
Yes.
So, okay, meets the breakdancer. Then we could put some of the rehearsal stuff that we talked about earlier in there, like doing it in different ways. Maybe it is, and he goes, and he's like, so he sends him to like sensitivity training or something like that, right? I had family counseling, but the family counselor is like a woman. And he's like, it's not connecting with the dad. And so he's like, well, we needed a guy I needed a man who could speak to men about speaking to women. And then that's, and then that's how, and then that's how we get to like the pickup artist. It's like, because their whole thing is that they have cracked the code on women sort of thing, even though what they're actually doing is like disgusting and gross.
And doesn't work.
Right.
That's another thing. They're incorrect. I'm just like thinking like Nathan does a dance troupe for the dad, and then the dad doesn't know that everyone's paid actors. He thinks he joined a group.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to thematically tie that in because I don't know how to tie that in yet.
No, that's funny. Well, I feel like that's like to show that he has had success, right? He's like, but like, I just really had to believe it. And I thought that she would be proud of me. And so he puts together, he's like, but he hasn't had success doing that. So we wanted to give him the success because that's funny too. Cause we're saying that he goes and then plays to he plays Carnegie Hall. He can do the whole thing, go the whole way with the troupe and eventually just like play in this giant venue and have his family there.
Okay, this is dark. Are you ready for cynical? Because I think I got your cynical
It's about
here.
time.
Okay, he hires an actor to play a manager or an agent that scouts the breakdancer, and it's going to be an older gentleman. He is going to be a father figure, and he's going to help build the career, the breakdancing career and the
Yeah.
celebrity that he always wanted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then the
that's funny.
father figure abandons
Yeah,
the breakdancing dad.
that's funny. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's so funny. That's so messed up, Brian. That's
It's dark.
hilarious and will eventually betray him. That's so mean, Brian. You're the meanest person. Brian is officially the meanest person on the stream. That
Uh,
that is so mean and dark. That's really funny though. That's really, and he abandons him. So that's the season arc
maybe
for the break.
Nathan takes that route because like the father like rejects any reconciliation with the daughter. Any attempts to have done it weren't going to work based on his performances in the rehearsal.
Yeah,
So he goes about teaching him another lesson. So it more so
that's
justifies what Nathan was doing.
that's so funny because then like the manager dad he gets like a client. So then Nathan has to do that's so funny. Nathan's client should become that's what we'll do. When episode 4, we'll have the announcer. That's when we bring in the announcer and the terrorists.
Yes, you terrorist squad.
And he becomes the manager's client and he's starting to like blow up. And so the manager becomes less and less engaged with the father because he has a client who's blowing up.
I just wonder, does Nathan even attempt to pick up the pieces after he gets abandoned, like showing him positive versus Matt? Like, I feel like Nathan would then send in an actual good father figure after that to pick up the pieces of the stepdad or the breakdancing dad.
I'm torn between whether he would do that or he would be like the manager. Like he would become the manager.
Well, it would be Nathan who'd be the positive dad at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with Nathan being the positive dad. Yeah. I just wanted to do the whole pick him up if, again, the guy doesn't realize and then storm off in a fit because it was pretty mean.
Yeah, well, yeah. You can thank Brian you can thank Brian
because,
McDonough Jr. for that.
Because, like, there could even be, like, a bunch of abuse that the breakdancing dad's putting up with because he has all this power.
I feel like that's in, like, episode 2. Nathan has the manager start being toxic to the breakdancing dad. Like, subtly at first. That's really funny. He's creating a bad relationship and a toxic.
He's putting, as you said, other clients ahead of him, even though all these promises were made. And he told him he was special and he was going to make it.
It's so funny. That's so horrible. Making promises that he doesn't keep. That's so funny. Well, because then too, he's like, he's with the Nathan Fielder management company. He's like, it had to be a real company. And he's like, you can't just be managed by any person. Even though as a manager, you technically can. So it's like, so he gets managed by the Nathan Fielder managing company. And then eventually the guy leaves and then he just becomes the Nathan Fielder management company and he's the manager.
Based on what you were saying, anyone can be a manager. Like he thinks it's going to be like a big, difficult like process to get a license. And he's like, oh, wow, this was easy to actually start. This is a little too easy.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
This was concerningly easy.
I didn't think that just anyone could be a manager, but apparently that was the case. And he does it. He's like, what's the difference between an agent and a manager? And he's like, well, an agent is barred in the state of California, so they can actually negotiate. Okay, so they do something. I was like, well, because then you can get into what a manager is. And he goes like, well, what does a manager actually do? It's like, well, they take an interest in a client's early career. So like a lot of agents won't take up a client until they have some successes, some credits. Okay. But how do you do that if you don't have any, but an agent gets you the job. Right. So you have to have credits in order to get an agent, but in order to have an agent is the one who gets you the credits. It's like, that's right. He's like, so then how do you do it if you don't have the credits? And he goes, that's what a manager is for. So you just do it that way. So And that was my sly, subtle way of telling the audience, those of you who are in the chat, that's the situation. That's the difference between agents and managers, and that's kind of like that's a little bit of the point of managers. They're actually not worthless. There is a point to them. They take a more active role in your career, especially when you're starting out. And an agent is really more, and this can go between. It can change depending on your relationship with your representation, but an agent is really more for like doing deals and getting you meetings, and a manager is more for like your career and your writing and stuff like that. So yeah, I think he starts like a management company in episode 2.
Yes. So going to 5 and 6 real quick, just so we know what those beats are going to be. I feel like 5 would be the episode he does the Manosphere podcast circuit, and
Okay,
then
3 then.
wait, hold on. Never mind. I'm sorry. I didn't see that there. Sorry. The reason I was saying that because he becomes the positive male role model for the breakdancing dad. And then I thought it'd be nicely paired with him also doing that for the internet.
Okay. I mean, we can have an aspect of that in 5. That makes sense.
Okay. And
yeah,
then
that makes
6
sense,
would probably be
so that means
reconciliation.
we can take different parts of it, right? He can become a manosphere influencer, and then
it comes to fruition
3,
in episode 5.
Yeah, I mean, he can go on a debate in episode 4. Then he becomes like that sort of positive.
The Manosphere's Mr. Rogers. And then 6 would be Breakdancing Dad's
That's funny,
reconciliation.
because
That comes to
episode
fruition.
6, and then in episode 6, he invites his followers to watch the performance. The dad gets applause at the end. He's like, and he had done it. He had been a man. So he basically gets a reward for being a man. Sounds about right.
Question. Oh, is the final test of episode 6 the concert that he always wanted, the performance he always wanted? The choice is go to the concert or go see and make up peace with your daughter. Nathan gives him that choice. She's finally ready to speak to him. You need to choose between the two.
Okay, but how does that... Because he always tries to let it all happen, too. So what does that look like then? I like that. I like that he's making him choose. But what does that look like in practice? Like, what is the game that we're playing with that?
It would be, did the lesson... Well, I mean, you know...
No, I don't... Yeah, not thematics.
Yeah, no.
Talking material.
Got it. My apologies. I'm just trying to think of, like, how to execute that. I'm not quite sure. But, I mean... I can think, if you let me say the aftermath, I think, because you don't know how the dad's going to predict and Nathan's at that mercy. Or, yeah, you can't predict how he's going to act. And so he makes the wrong choice, concert canceled. He makes the right choice, he gets the concert.
I think if he I don't know if Nathan does binaries like that, though. But,
Okay.
I feel like it would be like, the concert is canceled. If he makes the wrong choice, then he can't. If he makes the right choice, then he does it. If he makes the choice where he chooses himself over his daughter, then Nathan performs as him, and he and his daughter have to like watch him at like Carnegie Hall. Like as a break dancer.
I like that. I like that a lot. So if they reconcile, Nathan does the performance instead. And if he doesn't, does Nathan go and give her the reconciliation that she deserves? And he plays him there?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And the whole thing,
he throws her like a dinner or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, like you can have a whole theme of like you deserve better. Or
they go to a gay bar. They go hang out at a gay bar. They have a night on the town at the gay bar.
If other men make the bad choice, you should make the choice to be positive yourself. Because there's a bunch of toxic people in the world doesn't mean that you need to be one of them. Would be the theme if the dad made the wrong choice. That would be justify him playing him at the reconciliation.
I think that makes sense because he does it in an interesting way. And it's like his stuff is moralistic, but it's not 100% moralistic, if that makes sense. No. He doesn't tell you what you are supposed to feel. He just kind of lets it play out, and then the audience makes their own decisions about it. Like he does, he clearly, like, it's like with the airplanes,
his
right?
chaos powers have limitations.
Right. Was like because he's not telling them what to do. Like, so like, for instance, like he does kind of but it's like the key was communication. in the
Hmm.
airplane one. That was the key, was communication. Like, and it would be easy to
Yes.
just say like they need to communicate better. Like that, but like instead what he does is he makes it play out the whole way.
He designs experiments to test if they will communicate.
Exactly. So he never says to the pilots or the co-pilots, you need to do a better job of, he never sits them down there and says, this is what you are doing wrong.
Yeah.
You need to communicate better. Like that would be therapy. But what he does do is he puts them into situations where they can come to it naturally,
Hmm.
almost so that they realize it.
Let's make a list of things for him to test. So, like, can you accept responsibility? Apologize. Can you be patient with another person? Like, what are these positive masculine traits that he could test?
Listening.
Can you show empathy? Listening.
I would do listening, I think, is a big one.
Yes.
Understanding that what's the best way to put this? Understanding that sometimes it's okay to just go with what another person is saying.
Yes.
And you will discover, I guess that's curiosity, right?
Hmm.
Curiosity, like,
Vulnerability. Oh, sorry. Fully explore curiosity, please. I need to shut up and listen.
because I think that's a big problem that men have generally is
Hmm.
like it's like if it and it comes from something that's a positive. Men want to be very helpful. They want to be very useful. But the negative side of that is that we put everything into, and we're even talking about this with the breakdancer, right? You're putting everything into this thing, this one thing, and if people don't
Hmm.
recognize you for it, like your whole world falls apart, right? Or they're not supporting you or something like that. When in reality, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. That doesn't mean you take every suggestion. But like sometimes if we take a step back and we listen to what people are saying, and we talk about this all the time, it's the note behind the note. Like, what am I
Hmm.
doing? Like, why, if I'm getting frustrated, there's a reason I'm getting frustrated, and it usually comes back to me.
Yeah.
That's the vulnerability part, too, like you're saying. Yeah, I think that there is labeling. I think that's a thing, too, is like there is no one way to be a man. And that's where the kind of manosphere of it all comes into, where it's
Yeah.
like you must behave this, but that's ridiculous. There are twice as many ways of being a man as there are men. Like three times, a
Yes.
100 times. You can be whoever you want to
Hmm.
be.
These lines we draw are fictional. Nice.
Um,
And then we would just design
so having
challenges.
fun. Also having fun.
Yeah.
Not being so austere and severe and stoic.
Yeah. Being able to say like words like cute. I remember that's something like I struggled with of like I didn't want to use the word cute because I thought it was feminine.
Aw,
I
Brian,
thought
that's so
people would
cute.
judge me for saying the word cute. And now
Aw,
I say
Brian,
it. If I think something's cute, I say it's cute.
Brian, that's adorbs.
Yeah.
So, all right. I don't know. We've been going on here for how long have we been doing
Uh
this for?
it might be time to close it
I think
soon. We
I
feel
think it may be
anything
time
else you
to.
want to touch on?
Any pitches, suggestions in the chat?
We'll get them next time.
Are they still on there?
It's only Navy that spoke to us.
Are people still on the stream?
We are currently alone, but it's been very good viewership. Honestly, we did better on viewership than I was afraid of.
Well, I thought there was going to be zero. We actually got engagement. It was good. It was fun.
Yeah, I know. I also thought I was dreading a zero viewership day, but we did pretty well, actually. And I think we got enough of this to go that we got like a good starting point for if we were to do a Nathan
Yeah,
Fielder story.
because as you said too, I mean, it's documentary. So it's like you can't write it
Yeah.
out. Like you have to like kind of outline it and see where it takes you.
And
But I
it's
think that
going to be subject to changes.
right, absolutely. So I thought that
Mhm.
we did like a really good job of kind of like getting to the thematic core. Thank you, Brian. Getting some fun ideas because we got a lot of fun ideas out that we could put in through
Yeah.
the blue skying, and that was a good narrative, a thematic core.
Absolutely, and thank you. Your ideas were fantastic. You kept us structured, and so I appreciate you as well, my friend.
Yeah, so thank you, everybody. Thank you for all of you who tuned in. Thank you for the people who watched afterwards, and hit us up. We'll be here on Saturday mornings. But until then, pens down.
Remember to put your notes and pitches in the comments, and we'll read our favorites on next week's show.
And hey, while you're at it, why don't you hit that subscribe button? Let's build this community together. Oh, also, the bell icon's there, so why don't you ring my bell so that you never miss any updates?
And the like button too, Phil. That's important.
Oh, right, yes. Thank you, Brian.